Hi, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of Game and Interactive Media Design. So, the last I was with you, I was really annoyed with, I run into this problem every time I do this barrel activity, and there's really no great way to unwrap this, as far as I know, and so we're going to do it in a little weird way. I already showed you how we just selected what was left, did planar unwrap, and it unwrapped both of them, kept the little polygons together, and now I selected one of them and moved it apart. And what I'm going to do is click on cylindrical mapping, and it's going to unwrap it like this. But the problem is, this top is flat, and so it's going to keep it flat here, but I don't want it flat. Because if I did that, if I kept it flat like that, let me just scale this up so you can see what happens. Scale it. What you can see is it's actually distorted, right? It's that pixel just keeps carrying across, and I don't want that. So, what we're going to do is just something a little tricky, and we're going to go into vertex selection mode. And actually, you know what? I'm going to select edge selection mode and double click one of these edges, because this edge is there, this edge is down there. That means this edge should be in the middle. And if I double click that edge, just like we do in Edit Poly, it'll select the entire loop, and I can come into my Edit UVW selection, click on the Move tool, and move. I have to disable, I have to disable Select Element, or by Element UV, which is helpful if I want to select, a polygon, the entire island. I can select just one, right? So it's in that mode. I'm going to deselect that, click off of everything, go into edge selection mode, double click that, now come into my edit UVW, make sure move is enabled, left click. Oh, dang it. Okay. That is not helpful. Double click this. Double click here. Ooh, that's really annoying. Okay. It's going to move this off just one by one. Well, let me do this. If I select grow loop and keep growing that, it will now select all of them. Hold down shift so it doesn't move it over to the left or right too much. From there, I'm just going to select this one, hold down shift, raise it up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that kind of worked, and now let's move this down. I'm going to select the entire by UV, element UV, click on polygon mode, select that, bring it down here. The one thing we didn't do is we didn't grab this vertex, so I will just go ahead and make sure I find where that vertex is by selecting vertex selection mode. Select that. Whoops, uncheck. Select by element, I do this all the time. Unselect everything, just select these verts. There it is. Notice when I select this one, it actually selects both of them because this one was not selected. Go into here, move tool, select shift, hold down shift. Yay. Perfect. Alright. Now for the fun part. We have to figure out which vertex this belongs to. So, okay. This vertex is actually connected to that. So we actually need to flip this, and we do that by going to polygon selection mode, select this, select entire island mode, select the whole thing, hold this down, the mirror, so that it mirrors vertically instead of horizontally, and by doing that we just flipped it, click off of it, don't select entire regions, click on vertex mode, select that vert, you can see it aligns with that vertex. That's perfect. Now what we need to do is select the entire object and actually scale it so it is almost exactly the same size. And we do that with the scale tool. Let's just scale it in one direction. And it looks like we need to center this. Here. Now we scale it in that one direction. Like that. And it's just a little bit. Let's just make this perfect. Okay. And the last thing we need to do is select that and move it just up and down. Oops. Again, disable that select entire thing. Go like that. Yay. There we go. Perfect. Okay, almost perfect. The next thing we want to do is select all of these vertices. So right now there's this seam there, which you can see that green line. Anytime there's a green line, there's a seam. That's going to be a very noticeable line, and we don't really want it there. So what we can do is let's just set this up like that. We want to go into vertex selection mode. Select all of these verts. Hit Control to add to your selection. And we're selecting every single vertex that there is there, and we are going to click on a weld tool. This distance will actually do okay. We are going to say weld selected subobjects. And when we do that, they all got welded together. Our threshold was so small, it actually worked pretty well. And the last thing I want to do is click... Oh, and notice this. This is another really annoying thing. You see this line here? For some reason, anytime... This green line should only be around the island. So if this line is green, that means there's two verts right here. And I'll show you that I can see that I'm right. When I select that, it should tell me somewhere that two verts are selected. But watch, I'll just click once and move it. And you'll see, yes, there are two selected there. So I'm going to Control-Z, Control-Z, Control-Z. Select that. Click on weld, and the green line disappeared. Are there any other green lines? Yes. Why are these green? Okay, select those, weld. Those didn't get welded the first time. Any other green lines? Inside. So these are green, so I'm going to weld those. These are all green. Select them, click the weld button, select that, click the weld button. The next thing I want to do is click on edge mode, double click this to select the entire edge. I do want to straighten this up a little bit. So I need to... Where did you go? Just give me a moment. Yeah, it was up at the top. I actually forgot that I had scrolled down a little bit. It's up at the top using your scroll wheel. Under Quick Transform, I'm going to select this entire edge. And because it just wasn't perfect to begin with, I need to just click this Align Vertically by Pivot, and it's going to straighten that up. I can do the same thing for all of them because they're slightly off. And I won't bore you with the details, so I'll pause this. Alright, and I just straightened all those edges up, and now you can see how nice that looks. There's no seam here. It perfectly flows, It goes down the bottom here. And then of course there is a seam with the top, but you know what? We can deal with that. There is a seam right here. Let me check where that looks in the model. I think that's probably going to be fine. And that should be along a plank anyway. And the last thing we want to do is we kind of want to... Oh, dang it. We have to do the exact same thing. Oh my god. Yeah, we got to do the exact same thing for the bottom as well. There probably could have been a better way of doing this. You know what we'll do? Just so you can see a different way of doing this. It's probably going to be a little bit easier. I'm going to select the bottom. Polygon selection mode. I'm going to select this and control select this. I'm just going to remap these. This isn't going to be perfect, but it'll be different. And I'm going to choose the planar map selection mode. Now this maps all of these the same way. Now what I'm going to do here is just scale this down. Well, I'm going to accept it by clicking on this. By the way, this happens all the time. I'm like, hey, I can't rotate or move this because I haven't accepted that by unchecking planar projection. Now I'm going to, scale it in 2 ways. There. Click off of it for some reason. This is just quirky. Select the whole thing. Move it. Now what I want to do is select... This is still screwed up. You see how that's screwed up? What I need to do is select... Uncheck. Select by UV. And just select these here. All of the kind of the planks that go across. And I'm going to scale these down. There. That actually is starting to work. There. And now I can select that, and these should actually line up appropriately. Yeah. There. So this is just another way of doing that. In the top, this is part of the plank unwrap right here. Well, see like that. And on the bottom, this is just much faster to do. But it's a little bit distorted, you can see. So, you know, it's up to you how you want to do that. Now what I want to do is actually scale all of these the way I want. The bottom doesn't have to be that large. The top I might want larger because you rarely see the bottom. And this can only be... Yeah, I'm going to leave that like it is. So then what I want to do is I want to select everything. And I'm going to just pack it inside of this square. And I'm not going to have them rescale anything. I'm just going to click pack. Pack and normalize. Yeah. Any one of these. Now, if you choose to have them rescale it, you can... have them rescale them, and those are going to rescale slightly different. And if you want things to be rotated, you can check that, but usually I rotate things the way I want them rotated, and the padding is how much space is going to be between elements and the edge here. So that's fine. We're going to accept this, and now we have a barrel that is unwrapped and ready to go. So let's go ahead, file, save as, and we will move on to the next step. Bye!